All right, let's talk about Thailand's wild ride with cannabis. I mean, this is a story of a country that went all in, becoming Asia's pioneer, and then slammed on the brakes with this massive U-turn. It has been a total roller coaster.
And that brings us to the big question, right? Why? Why did Thailand, the first country in all of Asia to decriminalize weed, suddenly pull a complete 180? Was this a calculated move to get things under control, or was it just a full-blown panic attack from an experiment that got way too big, way too fast?
So to really get why they hit the brakes, you first have to understand the explosion that happened right before. We're talking about the Green Rush. Back in 2022, the country saw this incredible economic and cultural boom that popped up seemingly overnight, all thanks to cannabis.
And the speed of this shift was just staggering. I mean, for decades, Thailand had some of the toughest drug laws on the planet. You could get serious prison time. But then, in 2018, they made a small pivot to medical cannabis, and that just set the stage for the bombshell in June 2022 when they took it off the narcotics list completely.
So what was the driving force here? Well, no surprise, it was money. A lot of it. The government sold this whole idea as economic rocket fuel. They were projecting the industry would be worth over $1 billion, framing it as this game-changing opportunity for farmers, for small businesses, and especially for tourism.
And the change was instant. You had over 11,000 dispensaries just popping up everywhere. Thousands of people were let out of jail for minor possession. Tourist spots like Khao San Road in Bangkok suddenly became famous for these weed walks. It was a whole new world of cannabis cafes, edibles, and even huge festivals.
But here's where the story takes a turn. That incredible high very quickly led to a massive, widespread hangover. See, the problem wasn't really the decriminalization itself. It was that it happened in a vacuum. There was no real law passed to manage and regulate this brand new market, which created this huge, chaotic legal gray area. And this is the fundamental conflict, you know? The promise of a booming economy, helping out farmers and social justice, it just slammed headfirst into the messy reality of an unregulated market. And that led to some serious problems. Concerns about kids getting a hold of it, public health risks, and even international smuggling. And this wasn't just fear-mongering. Public health officials started pointing to the data. They saw a big jump in adult cannabis use after 2022. But the really alarming number? A 20% increase in psychosis-related ER visits in the big cities. That kind of data really fueled the push to clamp down.
This quote just nails it perfectly. The high came with a hangover, unregulated chaos. It really gets to the heart of the issue. The problem wasn't the plant, it was the total lack of rules. It's like the government threw open the doors to a huge party, but forgot to set any house rules.
But, public health was only one piece of the puzzle. Behind the scenes, you had a perfect storm brewing. Conservative political groups who were never on board to begin with started gaining more power. And at the same time, you had all these reports of Thai cannabis being smuggled to other countries, which put a ton of international pressure on the government to get a grip on the situation.
So, with all that pressure building up, what happened next? Well, it all led to the massive policy pivot of 2025. A new government came in and decided it was time to, as they put it, prune the weeds of this wild, unregulated market. And they did this by introducing a totally new legal status. In June 2025, cannabis became a controlled herb. Now, what does that mean? It means it's not an illegal drug anymore, but it's a universe away from the free-for-all it was before. Its use is now super restricted, mainly just for medical reasons. So these new rules completely flip the script. Recreational sales? Banned. If you want cannabis now, you need a doctor's prescription, and even that's limited to a 30-day supply. Public use is totally out, and the licensing for anyone trying to grow or sell it has become incredibly tough.
And you can imagine the effect on the ground was just instant panic. You have thousands of dispensary owners who poured their life savings into their businesses suddenly staring at closure. The new reality became these massive fines and, from what many people reported, a big increase in police shakedowns.
So that brings us to the million-dollar question. What now? After this insane U-turn, where does Thailand's cannabis policy even go from here? Well, it looks like there are about 3 different paths it could take.
Okay, so analysts are basically looking at 3 main scenarios. On one side, you have the super strict medical-only model. On the complete other end of the spectrum, you have a full return to criminalization, which feels pretty unlikely given the economic fallout. And then there's the middle path, a regulated system for both medical and recreational use. And that middle path, the regulated dual system, is what most experts are betting on as the most realistic long-term solution. Basically, you'd treat cannabis kind of like alcohol or tobacco. It would be legal, yeah, but with really strict controls on who can buy it, how it's advertised, and where it can be sold. So let's zoom out for a second, because this isn't just a local story about Thailand. What happened here is a huge test case, and it has major implications for cannabis policy all over the world. Seriously, everyone is watching.
Think about it. Because Thailand went first in Asia, whatever it does influences its neighbors. It's a real-time experiment in balancing tourism dollars with public health. But maybe the biggest lesson of all, it's a powerful, cautionary tale for any government out there, showing you absolutely need to have regulations in place before you open the floodgates.
You know, there's a really great way to sum up this whole new strategy. Thailand isn't trying to slam the door on cannabis for good. It's more like they're installing a smart lock, still allowing access, but with much, much tighter control.
Which leaves us with the ultimate question. Was this a smart, necessary course correction to fix a situation that was spiraling out of control? Or did Thailand just kill its billion-dollar golden goose by overreacting? That's the high-stakes question everyone is waiting to see answered.